Hello everyone, welcome back to the latest update series of Drishti IAS. This is Divya Kawatra, your educator, and today we meet to discuss about the very hype topic, that is G7 summit that is coming up, and amidst all the crisis that is going on in the world, the West Asia crisis, and amidst the conditions of Indian economy, our dependency and our multiple deals that we are aligning, amidst that, where does G7 stand and how does India attending the G7 impact our economy, help us, or create any sort of effect? All right, that's all we will be seeing today. First of all, let's understand what is happening. Yes? Okay. So, Prime Minister has, is set to return to France. He's going back to attend the G7 summit that will be happening on June 16. That is today. It is happening, and he has been currently visiting Slovakia. Then now he's going back to France. Why? Because our Europe relations have been taking a huge turn, right? We've been taking huge turn in terms of trade agreements also, in terms of visits also. We've been looking constantly towards Europe, right? So this summit coming into France, where already our friendship allies with France has been deepened with our roadmap, the 2030 roadmap. That's right. So the France leadership in this is also going to give India an edge. So we are going to capture that. Let's see what is going to happen here. First of all, this is the 52nd summit. Remember that. It is happening in France. Another thing, the official theme for this is reducing global economic imbalances, which we are seeing constantly, that no matter what happens, the economic imbalances very quickly created, crashing down everybody's market. So no country wants that, right? It is not just India. No country wants that. So everybody is aligning here to discuss how we can prevent this from happening every single time. How we can get rid of this imbalance. That's right. So we are trying to reduce that through this theme also. Who are the member countries? Who are the member countries? If we talk about the evolution, earlier when it began, it started as G6. That's right. It started as G6, and then we had two members in terms of Russia and in terms of Canada. All right, it became G8, but after the whole Crimea and issue, Russia was obviously taken out of it. So we were back to G7. All right, that's why now we have USA, UK, France, Germany, Japan, Italy, and Canada. These are our members. EU is participant, not an enumerated member. Please remember that. They all share the presidency, not EU. All right. India is not a member of G7 as we know, but we have been attending as a partner. Okay, we have been attending as an outreach partner since we are attending in 2026, and we have been attending since a very long time, right? Along with other countries like Brazil, Kenya, South Korea, all of them are coming. All right. If we talk about the institutional structure, the surprising thing is that G7 is not a formal structure. It is not a formal grouping. It is an informal grouping. That's why it doesn't even have a permanent headquarter. It doesn't even have a permanent headquarter, and the presidency keeps getting rotated among the members. That's right. How do they rotate it? It is rotative between all the states that are a part of it, like France, USA, Germany, Japan, Italy, and Canada, except for EU, who doesn't have a presidency. EU doesn't get a rotating presidency. Other than that, all the members get a rotating presidency. Is that clear? Yes? All right. Moving forward, what is G7? G7, we have different member countries, informal bloc. What is the institutional framework? There is no legal treaty. There is no legal treaty for forming G7. There is no permanent secretariat. There is no physical headquarter. Please remember that. The host nation is the one who finances all the operations. It is up to the host nation. There is no fund. Okay. The only thing they have, the important thing they have is the FATF. Yeah. Do you remember what was FATF? Yes. Yes. Let us know in the comment section, when did G7 introduce FATF? Okay. Let us know in the comment section. Moving forward, we have the global agendas. What will the meeting entail? What are we going to discuss? Primarily, obviously, the West Asian crisis. However, it is changing because we can see that a deal has been negotiated. Finally, a deal has been negotiated. Now, we don't know how long it will be followed. but it has been negotiated for now, right? They've signed it on. And now for India also it is important because after a long time, the delegates of the two countries are going to be sitting together, right? So while the world is talking, while the entire G7 is talking about all the global issues, India will also be catering to bilateral concerns, right? We will also be catering to our own concerns in bilateral terms with side meetings with the leaders that will be present here. We'll have side meetings with everybody, okay, as much as possible, with whom it is possible. We'll talk about that, what bilateral things will happen. But before that, if we talk about the global things, we have West Asia conflict, no doubt. We have to discuss that. We have to discuss Russia-Ukraine war also, so that we can finally put a stop to that. We are to discuss global macroeconomic imbalances also, where, China is overproducing, USA is overconsuming, Europe is underinvested. How do we solve all these problems so that the world economy is not impacted by such actions? Yeah, we'll be discussing that. The Trump tariff challenge also will be discussing, where he's been putting on tariff on all the countries, not just India. Many countries have suffered because of that tariff, right? So all the member partners, if not the permanent members, partners are here to discuss the same thing, right? Exactly. So we have technology and energy also, which will be a focus area because generative AI is coming, technology is coming. Amidst that, how are we to preserve ourselves from the deep fakes? How are we to preserve our economy from the crimes that can be committed through AI, and how we can make better utilization of it? So this is on the agenda. But if we focus on India, we'll see that we are going towards bilateral structures. Why bilateral structure? Because India is not just going as a partner. India is going as the voice of the global South. That's right. India is proposing that you give global South membership. Everywhere we need membership, because the global South, the global North and the global South, that we have divided the world. All the global North countries are somehow developed nations, and all the global South nations are not that developed. Very few of them are developed. Most of them are developing or least developed, right? So in that status, we are rising, we are improving, and we deserve a seat at the table. And it is high time that you give us that. India is becoming this, voice of all these nations, and we are taking that stand into the meeting. All right. Number one thing, that is how India is creating its own presence and importance. You understand that? The number one thing that we are talking about, voice of the global South. We are also talking about UNSC reforms. Why are we talking about UNSC reforms? Because we need membership in the UN Security Council as well, right? UN Security Council, that was created long time ago after the World War II, now requires change. It requires change because it requires representation from the rest of the world as well. These few nations cannot be controlling UN because it is becoming biased by the day, right? As we can see in the international conflict, it has not been effective. Why it has not been effective? Because other nations don't have any part in it, right? If only these leading powers are going to take a role in that, what is the purpose? So that's why we are putting forward the point, India as a leader is putting forward the point that we require membership in UN Security Council as well. It should be expanded, and many other countries along with us should be given the membership as well. Yeah, exactly. That is our second motto. Third is strategic balancing, right? We have Western-led G7 and we also have BRICS bloc, and India has good stand in both of them. Yeah, being a partner here and being a founding member there, we have good standing here, and we need to utilize that to create a good global impact, because India is not the one to sit back and watch anymore. Yeah, exactly. We are the powerful India and we want to retaliate. What are the bilateral segments we will be focusing upon? The side meetings that we are going to have quietly. We'll see that along with the main meeting, side by side, what benefits can we get. So in that, India has in the pipeline that will be holding talks with UK PM, Canadian PM, UAE President, and also the very hyped, the very conflicted Modi-Trump meeting, right? Everybody has eyes on that, because not just that we are taking this meeting after so long, because relations are rocky, relations are a bit rocky, we know that. But more importantly, the last attack, this was the second attack in the Gulf of Oman, where 3 Indian sailors have, died in the attack. So that has come as a concern, and we are constantly raising allegations against US, saying that this was not done. This is something you already knew about, and this has been a purpose. This was done purposely, and we are totally condemning it, and we are taking support of other nations to condemn it as well, right? That's why this is going to become a very great issue here. Everybody is looking towards US and India, towards Modi and Trump, and their talks and their meeting. How will it pan out? Whether we will aggravate the situation, or we will be able to finally find a common ground. Why do we need a common ground? Because let me tell you, regardless of the tariff fight, we do have negotiations going on. What kind of negotiations? We already have trade friction, but for that, we have a bilateral trade pact that is simultaneously going on. We are negotiating on that, and it is in the final phases. So to maintain that, we obviously need a middle ground. So I don't think aggravation is the solution. Obviously, it is not a solution, but right now, we need to move towards more cordial relations, right? So all these meetings will bring obviously fruitful results, and we are hoping for better peace in the world as well. That is what India is primarily advocating, right? We want peace for ourselves, but we also want regional security for ourselves, and we also want peace in the entire world. That is our focus. Is that clear? Yes. That is about the G7 summit. That is about the G7 summit that is about to that is happening right now and about to finish up. And after that, we'll have more details about this for sure. But right now, this is on the agenda. Keep your eyes open for that. What is happening, how it is happening, and we'll also keep you posted. Until then, there's a question we have for you regarding the G7 forum. Look at the question, solve the question, give us your answer in the comment section. All right? Yeah. That's about it. Thank you so much for joining in. See you in the next session. Till then, take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.